Hello, fabulous UW Whitewater at Rock County students. I am super pumped to be back speaking with you virtually today. Thank you for submitting your questions, and they're so thoughtful. By the way, I didn't even introduce myself. How rude. I'm Jen Shanin. I am the founder and lead vocal coach at Versatile Voice Academy in downtown Janesville. I'm also a URock alum, very proudly. So we have some questions. You might hear some lessons going on in the background because I am in my office at the studio. So if you hear a little background music, that's all that is. So the first question is from Brennan. It says, how do you balance being a teacher at UW Whitewater and Beloit College while running a business? So part of the answer to that question is I don't. I teach at UW Whitewater, but have moved on from my position at Beloit College. That was largely because the studio took off, and my studio at Whitewater took off, and it just made sense to kind of focus in on one college. And that's been wonderful. I absolutely love UW Whitewater. This term I am teaching musical theater performance styles, and also teaching voice lessons to a full studio. So I really just love focusing in on that one university. However, being a professor and a business owner and a mom and a singer, all those things, it is a balancing act, and it is not simple. I have had to learn to delegate a lot of things, and that sort of just comes from years now of experience thinking about what things are either falling between the cracks that I can delegate to somebody, or what things do I dread doing that I could hire a professional to do for me. And when I was starting out my business, obviously that wasn't always an option, just because of you're trying to get that income and earn that capital in your business. So some of it is delegating. I have also really had to learn my lesson with overscheduling myself. I still struggle with that. I'm one of those people who wants to do everything. I've always been that way. I've always wanted to participate in all the sports and all the shows and all the things. But we only have so many hours in a day. So it's kind of like knowing what your limits are and adapting your schedule to that. So while I am teaching at Whitewater, I actually take 2 days out of my versatile schedule, and then I put them back when it's summer, and it works out really well because there's usually a group of people who would prefer to only study during the summer when they have extra time, so it works out well for me. The studio also does a lot of performing in the summer, and so that gives me the opportunity to focus a little time that I wouldn't have during the school year, just from the bandwidth that it takes to run a studio there and plan lectures and all those things. The second question is from Lily. What type of students do you mainly teach? Guitar lessons versus singing lessons, etc.? That is a good question. So myself, I only teach voice lessons. We do have 4 other teachers here, and we're about to add a 5th. Some of them teach, so we've got Emma, who teaches voice and piano, Parker, who teaches voice and guitar, Jacob, who only teaches piano, Sarah, who only teaches voice, and then I'm really excited about this one. We are adding Carly, who is going to be doing songwriting lessons. She's a recording artist, who has had a record deal, and she's got a band and also is a solo artist, and I'm just thrilled to have her on our team. So if you want to do songwriting lessons, let us know. So the majority of our students currently are voice students. We have, I think we have 7 piano students currently, and the rest are voice. We have had a few guitar students in the past, or people who are doing hybrid lessons of voice and guitar, but they have either chosen a different instrument or just decided to just go back to voice. So it really just kind of depends, but we are Versatile Voice Academy, so I think when people look us up, they're usually looking for voice lessons. Malachi asks, where is your studio? We are in downtown Janesville, inside of the Old Town Mall, right on Main Street, and we're on the second level of the Old Town Mall in suite number 29, and we love it here. It's a great location, and it's like quick for everybody who lives in Janesville because it's right in the center of town. I love that. We've got the Marv stage that's just across the street from us, so that's really exciting too, to be able to have our performances there sometimes during the summer. We're just like, it's really close to home. It's really great. Lily asks, how did you get into the business of teaching students? Well, I was a full-time performer for about 15 years in the opera genre, and when COVID hit, there were no gigs. And I kind of had, during my studies, like been very against teaching. And I think that part of that has to do with there's a negative connotation in our industry that if you can't perform, you teach. And that's just simply not true. Some of the best performers I know are teachers, and I also will say that since I started teaching, it has made me such a better performer. So I got into teaching because there were no gigs and an opportunity came up to teach, and I thought, well, that's better than no music and no income, so let's try it out. And like literally my first day, I just remember being like, this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. I can't believe it. And so that is really, it just snowballed from there. All of a sudden, I was actively seeking private students on the side of my Beloit College gig because I started teaching at Beloit College. And then it just sort of snowballed from there and became Versatile Voice Academy. Lily has so many great questions. Lily asks, how do you advertise your business? I think that we could do better. There's always room for improvement. But majority of our business comes from either Facebook or Google searches right now. I actually am partnered with the Janesville Buzz, if you've heard of them or seen their videos on social media. And they are working with me on branding and marketing and good ways to kind of get our information and who we are and what we offer out. So we're looking into kind of beefing up the social media presence and considering some more like mailers, or they really think I should try a billboard. I don't know if I'm gonna go there yet, but getting out more than just like word of mouth and trying to kind of drive more sales and more clientele, not only through having the proper SEOs for our website, which is like how people find you when they search on Google, but also taking some advice from the experts, because I'm not one of those. I did not go to school for business. I went to school for singing. And so a lot of this has been having to educate myself as I go, and also employing the people that I need who are the experts to help me in the areas that I don't know. Sabrina asks, what was your most ambitious accomplishment? There are so many different answers that I could give to that. A few that come to mind are not business related. Becoming a mom was really something that I always wanted to do, and seeing my child grow and become the person that he is incredible. He's 7 currently, and insanely smart and really good at music and really interested in all kinds of things. So that's really cool and really fulfilling. Professionally, I would have to say performance-wise, probably one of the top accomplishments of my life was singing backup for the Rolling Stones. That was really cool. Versatile Voice Academy in general is like a really ambitious accomplishment, something that even 5 years ago, if you had asked me, do you think you'll own a studio? I would have absolutely said no. So just to like look around the studio and see all of the families that are part of our community here at Versatile, and the amount of teachers that work for us and our presence in the community. That's a really, really cool accomplishment. Another thing I would say is vocal directing a few musicals. That was something, I love musical theater. That's like my heart music. I absolutely love it. I'm a theater kid at heart. And being on the production side of it was definitely a challenge for me, but I also really enjoyed getting to lead and help singers who wanted to perform. I thought that was really cool to work in that way. So yeah, those are a few accomplishments. Malachi asked, how did you get into music? So this story is actually connected to UROC. I always sang. I came from a musical family. My mom is a great singer. She never took voice lessons or anything, but just like was a really good singer, sang in church a lot, that kind of thing. So I grew up singing beside her. But how I got into music as a profession was I was a student at UROC. I was not a music student. I was a political science major at the time. I attended UROC put on a production of Urinetown in the Kirk Denmark Theater, right there where you guys are. And I was sitting there in the audience watching my friends and my peers perform, and I said, I should be up there. Like I want to do that too. And so that kind of sparked my interest in voice lessons. So I enrolled in some, and within 3 months, I had applied to a theater program and gotten accepted and completely changed my major, changed schools, all the things. And from there, it just kind of snowballed. I actually, once I got to that school, switched to a music major because I got really into opera at that point, and that was the start of my musical journey. Sabrina asks, has there ever been any noticeable setbacks you have recovered from in your business? I think that I have been really blessed to have grown organically. Certainly there are growing pains with anything, but noticeable setbacks or things that we really had to recover from, knock on wood, I don't think we've really experienced that too much. There have certainly been times where I bit off more than I could chew, without help anyway. Like an example would be last summer, I got this idea that we needed to do a summer concert series, which was really cool. Our families loved it. Our students grew so much, just getting the chance to perform. But that was one concert a month from June, July, August. And I was so exhausted by the end of summer that I was not ready to start another school year. So definitely stretching myself thin. I think that is the biggest setback for me personally, because when I'm stretched too thin, when I'm overscheduled, I can't show up for my students the way I want to. I can't show up for my business the way I want to. And like, truthfully, I just want to like just go like sit on a beach for a week or something and not think about any of it. So getting to that point is usually when I am overscheduled and my brain is overworked. So taking care of myself is and continues to be my biggest struggle. Lily says, what was the most difficult struggle you had to deal with your business or career? Those are similar questions, but different. I would say COVID was a very big hurdle to overcome, because not only were there no gigs for a long time, but also it took longer for singers to get back into the groove of things because we were considered super spreaders. There's science behind it all, but basically the aerosols that we emit from our mouths when we sing made it so that COVID spreading was a real problem and a real concern. So it was even longer for things like choirs and operas and musicals and things like that to come back. And that was a really scary time for me and for all of my peers and colleagues who were making a living singing. and really nothing else. So it forced us to either go back to our like muggle jobs, as we call it, where it's just like, you know, being a waitress or whatever to get income. But yeah, that was scary. And it was just like in an instant, it's like the Thanos finger snap. All the gigs were gone, and they were gone for a long time. Last question is also from Lily. What would you recommend or tell someone starting a business? I would recommend grow organically. Don't try to get too big too fast. Because a lot of the times we see people who like put so much time and effort and money into like getting big really fast, and they can't sustain that. So growing slowly is good. I also think that you have to be really, really in tune with your gut instincts and your intuition, because there's nobody out there telling you who or what you should be doing with your money, and what your location should be, and who your clientele is. Like all of that is just like, if you can have some laser focus on just like growing what's working and continuing to see what happens if I add a little bit here, will we grow more, that kind of thing. So I would say keep it slow, make sure that it makes sense, trust your gut, and always bet on yourself. Always. I will always bet on myself, because when I decide to do something, I do it every single time. When I decide that that's what's going to happen, I do it. And it is usually a success because it is linked in with my intuition. So if you're not in touch with that, do some meditation or something. Get in there, do some journaling, and really like have a clear-cut vision of what it is that you want to do and how you want to, why you exist in the community that you're in, and go from there. So this has been fun. Thanks for listening to my ramblings. If for some reason other questions come up and you would like to reach out to me, you can find me at hello@versatilevoice.co, or you can email me at, I'm in the UW Whitewater system, so if you look up SHANINJ at UWW, you can find me that way too. And if you have any questions, let us know.